It's not very fun if you have to carry as you're walking down the middle of the river. Been there. It's not fun. Not fun at all.
I'll come. All right. So today's message is called Missed Opportunity. So today I actually get to share a message with you. I thought about it, how exciting it is to be able to share a message, to be able to stand before you guys and actually talk about Jesus. Okay? So there is something, a Latin phrase called carpe diem, right? Which means seize the day. It encourages one to focus on the present, appreciate the value of every moment in life, and avoid postponing things unnecessarily, because every life eventually comes to an end. Proverbs 27:1. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring. Yesterday, as we were praying, God said to me, I want you to share your heart. I want you to share your heart with the people that are with you right now so they know where you're coming from. And I had a conversation with God. I said, I don't know if I want to do that. You see, recently I asked a group of people if they respected each other, right? Respect, honor, sometimes it's interchangeable. It just really depends. You could look at the definitions. There's different things. And in that, I wasn't prompting for a response, but it was a heart check. And I felt conviction to ask that question. See, I'm very tactful in what I ask, because sometimes my flesh could say, why don't you ask this so you could see people and what they really think of this, almost like baiting people. But I pray against that kind of stuff, right? Do I fail? Yes, I do. But I felt conviction to ask this. So today, I actually have this opportunity, while I'm still here, while I'm still alive, to share something each with every one of you. So Jennifer, you guys know, with Jennifer, I met Jennifer at the Cheesecake Factory. And what drew me to you is because of your love of God, right? I love you. I do. But I don't love you enough. Brian, I met Brian when we were in high school. I am so happy that you're here. It moves my heart to have you sit in that chair, to know everything that you're going through, to have your voice here. What a blessing it is that I sold you drugs, and later on in life, God turned that around, and we get to stand here and I get to do life with you. You can do life with anybody, but you're doing it with me, and I get to do it with you. I love you so much, but I don't love you enough. Jessica, we have a history. Just because we were with Dr. Lee's thing, we saw you at New Life. Jennifer had more of a history with you. I see your passion. It compels me that you were truthful enough to share your statement with us about not knowing if you had enough to follow Jesus. I have to check my own heart to ask if I'm really fully vested in this, even after dying. I love you, but not enough. Maddie, you and I, we go way back. I remember even the first time when you guys came to us at our table at New Life, and just sitting in the car with you and eating Mexican food, talking about anime, talking about your life, talking about different things. And now I have the privilege of walking with you, being accountability partners with you, being able to go through things, process through things, grow through things, have conversations about God. I did not see that. I love you, but not enough. Evie, I see you like a sister. Sometimes I'm like, I feel like that sometimes. Because you've shown up every single time that it counted. I wept with you when your daughter died. It crushed my heart. We were on the phone. We've been through a lot of different things. But I love you. Just not enough. Mandy, we've been through a lot of things too. I saw you broken when you came here. I've seen you blossom into this beautiful person that you've become. Somebody that's willing to share, willing to go through pain. I didn't agree with a lot of your decisions, but you came through and you've blossomed, and it's crazy that we're here. I never thought I'd see you here after just seeing you at Angela's birthday parties or any of those family things, but now you're here. I love you. Not enough. Bree, I'm so thankful for you. You're not going to be here on the 4th of July. Leave. We've been through different things. It is an honor to have you here and your kids. You can go anywhere. I know some of your story. You're still standing. You come here. You've been through a lot of different things. I love you, but not enough. You, even though you're new, right? Got some things going on? Life happening? I'm super happy you're here today because this message is partly for you. I love you as well, but not enough. Amy, I'm not gonna lie, I'm super stoked. When Marco was like, I've been married a 5th time, and he came, and then you came shortly thereafter. I was super excited, still excited because you're still here. I asked you to walk with us, and you're here. You've been through a lot too. I love you, but not enough. And Kat, we actually have our own journey, right? We got to photograph your wedding, right? Sometimes I play in my head if, the enemy will play the shoulda, coulda, woulda, and my brother was confidential about when you were going through your issues in your marriage, so I would have never known. But I'm thankful that you're here and that we get to walk with you this round, this go around. I love you, but not enough. You see, there's an opportunity that's being given every single day to every single one of you in this room to share with the people that we supposedly love, but we don't speak the truth. And if we're to be like the Father and speak the truth, then we have to have uncomfortable conversations. If we really love each other to that extent. Maybe we're not there yet, right? Maybe we're not there yet. But once again, going back to Proverbs, right? We don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So I feel like we need to be having more conversation. We need to have more dialogue. We need to be challenging each other. I remember, and this hits home recently because we had a family member that killed themselves, right? She seemed so happy. She seemed so sweet. I read the obituary and all of these things, but we wouldn't have known because we didn't ask. How could we have known that when you're looking at people and they look completely happy? The people that are sad, it's easy to say. But what are we doing, guys? We're missing opportunity. So God had me share my heart with you so you know where we're going, right? I am following Jesus. If you do not want to follow Jesus, then you do not need to be here. Because this is where we're going, guys. We don't know what's going to happen in the next few days. We don't, but we keep on talking like time is on our side. Does anybody in here have a crystal ball? I hope not, because that's satanic. I'm not going to lie. I bought an 8-ball. I shared this with Maddie afterwards. I bought it, and then I returned it shortly thereafter. Because I was like, why did I buy an 8-ball? You know the little one that you shake? And I'm like, it's not a kid's toy. It actually says bad things. It definitely changed since we were a kid. But one of the things, the answer was, the medium says no. Like, what? So we returned it, right? If you turn to James 4:13-15. Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go into such and such a town and spend a year there and trade and make a profit. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that. And I think about that. I think about our kids. I think about seeing Abby and Jensen walking together in church, hand in hand, and now they're like triple the size. Like they were in diapers and then like grown adults. Like I think they're taller than me. My parents are Asian, so I didn't have good genes. But seriously, I think about that, and I'm looking at everybody, and we're blinking, and things are happening, and things are going, and people are fading out. And here we are thinking that we have so much time. Like, we're called to do something, guys. We really are called to do something, but we have to get out of our stuff. We have to have conversations. 2 conversations happened yesterday. One, when I sent a text message yesterday to somebody asking if they were going to be at Juliet's party on Saturday or whatnot. We jumped on the phone. He called me. We jumped on the phone, and he starts sharing with me some things that he's been going through. Right? I assumed, not a bad assumption. I just assumed like, oh yeah, he's just busy with life, and he started sharing some things with me. And then he said this to me. I need to apologize to you. And I said, you don't need to. He said, please please stop. And I said, okay. He said, I want to apologize to you because I should have gone to you. I said, okay. Why should you have gone to me? Because I know that you're a praying person. You're my family, but I didn't go to you. And I said, okay, well, I'm not holding any grudges. Like, I absolutely love you. Like, that's fine. I'm here. Let's forget about everything that just happened. Let's focus on the now. Let's do this. And if we didn't have that conversation, I would have never known what was going on. You see, as Christians, we think, especially for the leaders, that the leaders should be able to read everybody's minds, even in the bigger setting, right? Some of you guys have church hurt and you blame the big church, but did you ever speak up to the big church? Did you ever talk to the pastors? Did you ever talk to the elders? And some of you have. I completely get that. But did all of you, right? Where did you sit in church? At what pew did you sit in? And did you speak up? Did you sit in the back thinking you were going to be seen when there's hundreds and hundreds of people there, and then the pastor offended you, and then you brought your church hurt and never had a conversation? But we call ourselves adults. And our kids should be acting the exact same way as we're acting because we're the role models, but we're not exemplifying Christ-like ways. So why? Why are we doing this? We need to have conversation. There are so many missed opportunities. I was reading with the kids the other day in Kings, in 2 Kings 10:11. Jehu had a wonderful opportunity to lead a revival of the truth of God in Israel after possibly one of the worst reigns of the worst king that the nations of Israel ever saw, Ahab and his wife Jezebel. However, 2 Kings 10:31 records that he did not take advantage of it, walking instead in the sins of Jeroboam. So God had a relationship with this guy, like a straight up relationship like every single one of us has. He blessed him with so many. Some people would even argue that I think it was 4 generations worth, that he was just winning battles. He was crushing it. But it wasn't enough. He still decided to go in a completely different direction. He was worshiping false idols and going, like I said, in a completely different direction that God was speaking to him. Could you imagine you have God right in front of you, which all of you do. He's telling you to do certain things and be like, sorry, God, I'm not doing that. But that's what we do every single day with our choices. We have missed opportunities every single day. In James 1:19, it says, everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. So let's dive into this part. As you guys can see, there's a lot of women in this church, and this is going to be interesting. I was listening to a message the other day, and it was talking about women in the church. Is it safe to say that women are strong? I'm going to tell you what, I see more stronger women than men, not just here, everywhere. I see strong women rising up, doing things. Actually, if you look back in, you got to read some of the Gospels or whatnot, but when Paul, well, actually, shortly after the crucifixion, the women went out and the men cowered. The women went out, they're like, where's Jesus at? They were trying to find where Jesus is at, and the guys were scared of the Jews, right? And the first encounter, even when Jesus came back as the gardener, was with a woman. And why is that? Like, they were really prodding to find that, and the guys were hiding, right? The guy in the message was sharing, he said, who reads their Bibles more? The women or the men? I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying that that's what I've been seeing more of, right? Who's more committed to prayer? Who's carrying the burden of the children? If it's supposed to be, even in marriage, right? It's supposed to be split. Why is one person has more emphasis on the relationship with God than the other person? And I see it, right? I'm just calling what I see. Why is that? They were saying there's statistics on why Christian boys, average teenage boys don't have a relationship with God, and it's based off of their father not having a relationship with God. There's no example. Now, the woman could do it. I see it. I see the ladies doing it. I see it carrying more of your weight than you should have to. Sometimes, and even in divorces, I'm not saying it's two parties, so there's fault in both most of the time. But when a guy just throws in the towel and he doesn't want to do it because he's lazy, that's not a reason, guys. And I've been seeing it more and more and more. When we look at our phones, I've seen it too. If my kid's on his phone, it's because I'm on my phone, right? Maddie brought it up the other day. He was like, did you break up with your phone? Like, you read that book. This is during accountability. This is real. And I was like, I got to a certain part. I've gotten better, but I want to do better. So I have to read the book. I have to finish the book. I have to put in the work. I have the opportunity to put in the work. You know how many people can't have kids? And I'm not calling anybody out. They would do anything to be in our position. Anything. But sometimes I'm just lazy and I'm sitting there and I won't get up because I'm tired. Right? But I signed up for this. So why am I so surprised? And then we have the women. I'm going to do 50 million things. They're not waiting for the guys to rise up anymore. They're just going to do it. That's why. And then guys get mad, the women, like when they're doing all these things. It's like, we got to rise up. That's how this works. We have to rise up and we have to start leading and doing these things. No? That's not
Well, you come after the women now.
Women! Alright? You have to stand back too. Right? You guys are praying for godly men, right? But if the godly man doesn't do it within 20 seconds, you're all godly woman up. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. That's not how that works. You have to give time for the man to step up. You could pray and you should challenge. You should have conversation. Your husband, even the women, everybody, singles, you should have accountability with other people that aren't your spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend so they can grow you and you could grow them. Iron sharpening iron. But they need to have conversations. They need to be able to have time to do these things. See, we're in this instant world of gratification where you ask for something and then it automatically happens. That's what some people think marriage is. We got married, we're in love in the beginning, but we're not willing to have uncomfortable conversations. That's just the way that they are. They grow up like this. If I waited for them to do it, I would die. I'd be in the grave. They would never even happen, right? But are we challenging them? Are we talking to them? Are we being brave enough? Are we Christians? Are we following Jesus and holding people accountable to the truth? Only you could answer that. But seriously, gosh, being accountable to one another, right? We seriously have to rise up and we have to take the opportunities to speak up, the opportunities to challenge each other, to talk to each other, to go through these things. And not with just one person, but if you're a part of the body, just know that it gets messy. But if we don't talk about these things and challenge these people, challenge each other, then the same time next year, I promise you, we'll be in the exact same place, wearing different clothes. I'll have a better interesting fact to talk about that time. But other than that, everything will be the same. If there's not going to be any pain, if you're not willing to go through pain, then you're not willing to move forward. One of the biggest things, and I know that we get to hear about this all the time, and I deal with it myself in different times, but pride, right? People have too much pride to ask for help. They have too much pride to speak up. They have too much pride to offend somebody, right? They have pride for everything, whatever you want to do. There's pride for whatever you want to justify you holding yourself back on, and also making it almost your God, that you have that much pride that you can't see past your own beliefs. Do you want to be a part of a body, or do you not want to be a part of the body? That's what you have to ask yourself, right? There's little baby steps, and I know, once again, we're all guilty of this, right? But I will share this. I will not say names. They're not here or anything like that. They come ever so often, so it's okay. But I text message somebody, and I never get text messages back. Literally, never get any text messages back. And I continue to do this. I actually have to be honest with myself, and I have to ask God, do you want me to pour any more into this person when there are people right here that are thirsty to grow, but these people aren't doing anything with anything that I'm giving them? Why am I wasting my time? Is God really challenging us to waste our time? No, he's not. And we can justify it all we want to. Oh, they're going to come around. They're going to come around. Yes, I hope that they do come around. But God is calling you to put your time, efforts in other places. And I had a conversation, a tough conversation that I did not want to have. I called the person and I spoke to them because I can't just leave it alone. There needs to be a conversation on my part as the adult. And I said, hey, look, you're not responding back. I could have a conversation with a brick wall. It would be the exact same thing. There would be no response whatsoever. Do you want to grow with me or not? And you can ask people that. Guys, I think sometimes we're scared that sometimes the relationship is over. I think that really is part of it. And if you really ask God, and God say, hey, but let me caveat with this. Sometimes when it gets really hard, sometimes you guys justify, well, you know, that person's difficult. God wants me to let them go. That's not always the case. That's why I say you need to hear God. You need to practice hearing the voice of God so you know what that sounds like. There will be times where he says, hey, I put these difficult people in your life for a specific reason. You have to go through that. And then there's different times where, hey, you've been pouring. I'm not calling you to do this. And it might not be what we want to hear, especially when it's a family member. Like, I really want to help mom. I really want to help dad. I really want to help so-and-so. I want to be the person that leads them to you, God. And God says, no, you're not the person that's going to lead them to God. And you're like, why? Well, why not? Like, I want to do that. And God's like, you're getting lost, right? In what you want to do. In your focus for everything. You're getting caught up in your own situations that you can't even see me. Listen to this right now. You're reasoning with me. Why are you even doing that? Do you know I'm God? Like, why are we doing this? Somebody in here shared a story recently where their kid got in trouble because they didn't follow instructions, right? Because the kid thought they knew better than the parents. That's what we do with God every single time. God, I know what your word says. I know what you're telling me, but I just want to kind of try it this way, right? And we do it, and then what? Then we fail, and then we beat ourselves up, and then for some reason, we don't learn the lesson, and then we do it again. So when are we actually going to take the opportunity? Those are a lot of different missed opportunities, but today you actually have the opportunity, and I'm going to ask you again, you got to check your own hearts, to follow Jesus, to be part of the body, to do things with the body, to be uncomfortable, to be vulnerable, to be able to share. In Romans 12, 9 through 13, it says, let love be genuine. Abhor what is evil. Hold fast to what is good. Love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. Do not be slothful in zeal. Be fervent in spirit. Serve the Lord. Rejoice in hope. Be patient in tribulation. Be constant in prayer. Contribute to the needs of the saints and seek to show hospitality. Outdo one another. I know it's not a contest, but maybe we should start looking at it as a contest for the people that actually like to look at things as contests. I saw Angela make a cake. I'm going to make a bigger cake. You know, probably not compete there. You know. I saw Evie bring Jake 2 jugs of water. I'm going to buy him a machine. Just kidding. Don't do that. Do not do that. Okay. Not asking for a machine. I'm very thankful that they do that. But guys, like we got to do this. I was talking to Maddie yesterday, and we were talking about just cleaning. You know, guys talking about cleaning. You know, this is normal, right? Whatever. We just good chats. We're talking about cleaning the house and stuff. And I said, you know what? Maybe one Saturday or something, depending on if we go in rotation, we all go to one person's house, right? And if you're comfortable with it, obviously. I know everybody's not. What? You're talking about cleaning our own house?
No.
You could leave. Going to somebody's house and just being together, laughing and cleaning the house. Like just doing it. If there's a project that needs to be done, I know we're talking about doing neighbors and stuff, but maybe we should just get to know each other's hearts. Laugh. Know what's hanging on the walls. Know the story behind someone's home and help them clean and help them get it set up. So when we look back and we're going through different things, we can look even in our own home and have different reminders of the body actually into play, being intentional and helping each other in the home. I don't usually pick up dog poop, but I will, because that's how much I love y'all. Okay?
4 tons of rock that's got to go in the backyard, guys.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's start at Breeze.
Yeah, we'll start here. But there's projects, right? And I know, I was telling Maddie, I was like, I'll do whatever you need me to do. Like, I'm willing to help. And we were just talking about, bouncing a few things off of each other. But I think that is what the body does. Like, we're supposed to help each other. Do we hear, like, we heard about somebody, we'll just say somebody's house caught on fire. We should be going there, guys. Oh, well, we don't know him like that. Seriously? We don't know him like that? That is not the answer. If we are the church, what is the church doing? Is this it? Is this it right here? Or are we going to challenge each other and try to go out there and lead people to the Lord with our actions, with our fruit, so that He be glorified? Not for us, like, hey, look at me. Jake and Maddie cleaned a room together. Like, no, like, onto the Lord. We got to do this together. We cleaned it. We hated cleaning, but we did it. We did it together. So when I said I didn't love you enough, I didn't until today. I owe it to you guys to continuously challenge you. And sometimes I've been very reserved on that. And I talked about this 3 weeks ago because we had Maddie and Evie teach last week. But I asked you guys, and 2 people can volunteer, what is a mountain that you're facing that you faced for so long, and it's years and years and years, and you're still going on the same mountain, that you need help with, that you need us to help you cover that mountain, following God, helping you focus on God, leading you back to God. I need 2 people to raise their hand. Please don't make me call on anybody or make it awkward like when I didn't have anything for my interesting fact. 2 people on your mountain. I asked, what is the mountain that you have been trying to conquer that you're still on for years and years and years? I'm going to believe that. We need to start believing that we are going to conquer these things. And if you couldn't do it by yourself, then guess what? God put you in a place where there's people willing to carry you through it. So what is that mountain?
I'll share.
All right.
Mine is organization and time management. And those are very general, right? But I see them in so many different areas, whether it be cleaning my house, doing school with the kids, dealing with the people of my house, all the things. If I feel like the root of it for me is getting my thoughts organized and managing my time as best as I can. I feel like that's a big thing for me.
You feel like you've been dealing with that for years and years of your life?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm not that organized, so getting a few is organized. No, but that's okay. So we got to figure that out, right? How can we get her into a practical place where she's actually applying what is being taught and then doing it, and then she can teach somebody else that.
Yeah.
Right? It's not minor, especially if she's been doing it, and since it's a time suck, if it's taking away from her and her time with her family, time with God, right? More importantly, then what can we do so she is more organized? I need to be in on that meeting too.
Jennifer's good with that.
No, Jennifer's good.
Jennifer's talk with her.
You don't need to look.
We're gonna figure it out.
Don't look inside my shed.
I volunteer too. Sorry.
No, you're already.
Okay, good.
Look at over 100 boxes that never open.
It's really bad. His closet upstairs is you can tumble down on you. It's just where's it? It is. Those are that.
See, that gives me anxiety.
Okay.
And OCD.
No, I'm good. Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Maddie was talking about putting up shelves, but I didn't want my house to be the first one, so we're gonna go to Breeze and do some All right,
I'll put some
Let's
up
figure that out.
tonight.
Wait a minute, why shouldn't your house be the first one? Right. Why do you say
we're good
that? Why
because
not?
I gotta go through that first before we can put up shelves.
You can-
There's so much mess in there, it's crazy.
But other things in our house need to be done.
Yeah. Accountability, Jake.
All right, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Accountability.
All right.
Starts with you.
Yeah, you have to go home first. Do
Oh,
everything
really?
else First.
Okay, we'll figure it out. Jennifer's been working on the backyard, by the way. It looks good.
It
with
looks
the pool.
great.
All right.
No, it's still
All right, one more person.
I'll just share, just honestly, being single and just living in purity. Because honestly, it's really, you guys don't understand. I'll be on Hinge, I'm not gonna lie, and I put on the filters like a Christian, and I'm talking to someone that I think is a Christian, and they're like, for the first date, they're like, come to my house, I'll make you dinner. And I'm like, I'm not going to your house. But it's just like really frustrating, and when you're trying to do the right thing and live right, but there's like,
So many.
yeah, and it's like, okay, well, I have to have really strong boundaries. It's like, where's the boundary? You know what I mean? It's like, it's really frustrating. And then I do get asked out a lot. You know, I'm in the Latin dance community. I get asked out a lot, and I'm like, I have to just like really try to use wisdom, and it's just really difficult.
That would be difficult. Could lead to loneliness too, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're like, it just takes a moment of weakness, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you have to always be strong and always try to have
Yeah.
strong boundaries, and it's really hard. It's really hard.
That's why we need men to rise up to train up other men, like truly, not in pride or not in all of these things, because there's such a shortage of true godly men.
Because I mean, like just living in the world, and I was Catholic and going to, I was like, I believe in God, and I go to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm living my life, everything else. Like, I'll go to confession 3 times on Sunday, and then I'm going to do, like, endless amount of sin. So, not a fun fact. All right. No, we're going to pray for that. We're going to pray for us,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
We need to start speaking the light. Go ahead,
I was
Mitch.
just gonna ask, what do you think you desire assistance with? I think I worded that right.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Maybe like in a weak moment. Well, Jennifer's been that for me. Like just maybe a place I can just say like, hey, I need help or something like that. Or,
I'll be your wingman. That's
There you go. Yeah. That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
All right, we're going to pray for a godly husband for you, too.
I have been praying every day for her.
Okay.
But so as what I hear though is it's also important for you to have other women around you, which is what we're doing. But like, are your friends single and are they godly women? Because
that's the thing is there's not a lot of.
right, so just
That's
like
why I
there's a
told
shortage
Jennifer
of godly
before,
men,
yeah, and
there's
there's
a
also
shortage of
a short
godly
of like
women.
godly friendships or women
Yes.
that are also living
That's
that
why
way.
Steve Shipper just said, I'll be your wingman. I mean,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I'll go out with y'all. I don't think
Yeah,
Evie
so I
likes
can-
the salsa.
Hey, you teach me the salsa.
We don't need Evie getting hit on, too.
So that's been hard as well as like I actually, besides Jennifer and she's married, I don't have a single woman friend that's trying to live pure either. So
Yeah.
that's really hard. They're a Christian, but they're willing to they're willing to compromise on a lot of things, and so it's like I don't even have that person that like understands me or where I'm at. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Look, I may not be single, but I'm always up for going out.
Okay, because I like to go out like all the time.
And Ashana, I'll be praying for that because what you need, she needs, like heavy.
Ashana's the girl that is your sister.
That's my sister, but that's not my sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but because I'm married, I have different things that hold me. I can't do all the things, but she loves going out. She loves it, and she, like I'm telling you, listening to you, you sound exactly.
Yeah, because if I don't have to stay at home, there's no reason for me to stay at home, right? Like, and do nothing, because I'm not married and I don't have any children. So like, I really like just going out and enjoying. I like being around girls. Like, it's not like I'm trying to be with a guy all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be with girlfriends.
Yeah.
Or come over for dinner and just be with our family. I know it's family, but
Yeah.
sometimes just coming.
Yeah.
I know for Ashana though, when she does that, it makes her feel sometimes it helps, but sometimes it makes her feel even more
Yeah,
lonely.
because if they're trying to find
It
somebody to be
highlights
with.
all the things that they don't have.
Yes,
It
that's
can,
hard.
It can make it more lonely sometimes.
Like,
that makes sense.
I'm married, but when my marriage was in the toilet, it was really hard to be around healthy men. It's hard. It's because it just shows you what you don't have and what you desperately want so much.
Yeah.
It's hard. I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Married or not. And when you don't have a good marriage, you're like, well, dang.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to whisper a bug in her ear. I'm pretty good with getting her to do things. And she may not be your answer, but just, amongst our community, I feel like,
Yeah,
you
that's
two
great.
would definitely be able to help each other. And she loves having somebody always there. Like,
Yeah.
so when we were single, it was all day, every day. You know what I'm saying, with each other. So I think she would like really be helpful. I think you guys could help each other a lot. So with Jesse.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
I'm down for going now, so
And the nights that I don't have Dallas, you know, like,
yeah.
I'm definitely.
I want to see cat salsa.
I used to love to dance.
Oh.
Now I can't. I cannot hold
This is where
rhythm.
Jake's dance ministry comes into play.
That's hilarious.
Pull out of myself.
Oh god.
Evie, you have a new calling.
No, no, actually, there was one day we were at church and this lady comes up to me and was like, "Sir, I got a prophetic word for you." I'm like, "All right, cool. What's going on?" She was like, "You're going to be leading dance ministry at on." I didn't laugh.
He cannot dance. He's
in
so
my-
offbeat. When he dances, it's offbeat.
Oh, yeah, that was your dancing.
That was legit. Like,
You see what you just did?
Offbeat too.
Obviously.
Anyway, I want to say something about Jessica. Jessica is an incredible person. Like truly, and I tell her this all the time. I sat on the couch a couple weeks ago, just like, I don't understand why you're not married, because you are so amazing. Her adventure, just her freedom, like she inspires me, like truly. And I'm like, I know people, I mean, I just don't even understand it. Like some guy needs to find her. Like she is just the cream of the crop. I said that's probably why it's hard, because you're like literally the cream of the crop. But truly, I would encourage anybody in here to truly get to know her. I mean, this girl literally had her coworker that she barely knows, like, took the adventure on spring break and they went to Mexico together. Like, I'm like, who
I
does
never
that?
met her before.
Like, they go and spend Mexico, like, go to Mexico. She's just so free and so wonderful and, like, gosh, I mean, you just, like, truly inspire me, like, all the time. And I'm not just saying that, like, I'm really, like, I love you, purely from my heart. So, yeah, get to know her. Sit
I think-
there, have coffee.
I think the other part of it is like how much conversation you're having with God about who you want specifically. I remember probably about a year and a half before I had met Jennifer, I was writing letters, like letters upon letters on, to my future wife and talking to God about her, like I was praying. It became, I feel like it was in its own time, it was seeing that there are Christian women out, because I was writing like letters online, and there's tons of letters that would come, and some would be like, you're the guy that my parents told me to wait for. I'm already married and I hate my life. There were some that were like, you've given me hope. Like there are Christian men. One letter was like, hey, I'm on the road a lot. I'm a Christian artist. I can't say, but you've given me hope, and one day I believe I'll be married.
Yeah.
But I was very specific, like to the detail. I was like, these are the things I want, God. Like I know that you'll honor my heart. But when's it going to take? But I had to start living right, too. I'm not saying that you're not, and I'm not, however you're living. But I know that I wasn't living right, So in that, like, I got to face God, and He's like, well, you're asking for this, but you're not there yet. And then I'm just kind of like, ugh. So I started working on it. I was intentional. I'm like, all right, well, I want that, and I want to be, I want somebody to love God as much as I do or more. That was my prayer. And it was really long. I could try to find some of the letters or whatnot if I actually have some written out, but being very specific and believing. I know sometimes we look at times and we're like, oh my gosh, everybody, and it's easier for me to be the married person telling you that, but I know that God, if that's your longing in your heart, He'll take care of it. You just got to go in the right few different directions. You might have to take a few turns, but we'll get there.
Everybody be praying for that too. Like pray with.
But that's the other thing, though, right? Like, and here's the hard part. I'm gonna say this again. Like, guys nowadays, they're just kind of like, well, the girl can ask. She can. I'm not saying that the girl can't ask, but I'm saying, like, for example, the wedding we did yesterday. This was one of the most boldest things I've ever heard a guy do. The girl, his friend, would pretend that she was his girlfriend, because he'd be like, hey, could you be my plus one? And she would always, like, they'd have a storyline and everything. And then one day he was like, hey, let's just kiss real quick and just see if this is actually something, like 4 dates later. And she was like, all right, whatever. And he kissed. He was like, I feel like it was cool. She was like, I like it's cool. And they started dating, and they were each other's best friends before that. But he was bold enough to be like, I think I like you more. Let's try this. Sometimes guys need a little more help from other guys to push them. But I don't know. We'll pray. We'll definitely pray, and we'll start believing. But being very specific. See, if you didn't speak up, then I don't know what your heart's asking for. If we don't share our heart, then nobody knows our heart, right? And sharing your heart sometimes is the painful experiences that you've been through, things that you don't want to talk about. You know, like I don't want to tell people I shot some porno. Like I don't want to do that, but I did it. You know, it's part of my past. Actually, when I was dating Jennifer, we were in Walmart. This is probably our first time hanging out. And she was like, I heard you film the porno. And I'm like, what are you talking about right now? I'm like, I did. And I was like, and I'm not going to deny it. I did do that. But that was a long time ago. And if you're stuck on that, then this is probably not going to work because that was from a long time ago. But she wasn't stuck on that. And I wasn't
Wow,
stuck on that.
drugs, porn.
You just
God.
probably name a lot of it. You haven't been here long enough. You would have been interested in my facts. These people are not. They're like, anyways, all right, good. So the challenge actually for 2 weeks from now is actually taking the opportunity to act like Jesus when you normally don't act like Jesus. So I'm going to call in 2 or 3 people again. This is getting out of your comfort zone. All right. Even when Paul was talking to the church specifically, he was calling out things that they were doing in hopes that they would have a light bulb moment and say, we're not doing that. We should do that. That is the direction that we should be going. Making disciples. Practicing the word. So I'm asking you guys to do that. I'm also asking you, and we're going to really work on this, is hearing the voice of God. Okay? Ask for words of knowledge. Pray for those things and start practicing. Nobody's going to judge you. I'm not judging the lady with a dance ministry thing. Like, what happens if it does happen one day? I don't know. It's so weird. But anyways, what if it did happen, right? I don't know. I think she was off by like 2 inches. The person right here is probably 1. But at the same time, like, she was vulnerable enough that she feels like that's what God said. I respect that, right? Like, you're going to get prophetic words and they're not going to be real. But guess what? At least they're bold enough to be like, hey, I feel like God's saying this to you. So let's be bold and, you know, let's go that direction. But yeah, we close this in prayer. Go ahead. You gonna say? Go ahead.
So this is not something that has to be a doctrine, but the